first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. We are coming to you with breaking news that former Oregon Governor Neil Goldschmidt has died in Portland at his home at the age of 83. We've confirmed this via his ex-wife. As you may know, Neil Goldschmidt was in politics for over 3 decades, serving at the local, state, and federal levels, serving a number of different roles at all of those levels. However, his political career ended in scandal in 2004 upon the revelation and admission that he had raped an underage girl in the mid-1970s repeatedly. So again, if you are just joining us, former Governor Neil Goldschmidt, dead at 83. We're going to go through some of his career and talk a little bit about that as we discuss some of the different things that we know from this situation. Here we go. I'll pull up his picture just so you have that. So again, his career started off really in 1970 when he was elected to the Portland City Council, and subsequently in 1972 when he became mayor of Portland. He was the youngest mayor of a major city in America at that time in the United States. He served for several years. Some of the policies that he's noted for are revitalizing downtown, in addition to killing the Mount Hood Expressway plan, which would have put a freeway through east sections of Portland, instead advocating for mass transit on what would eventually become the MAX system that we know today, the MAX light rail system. Because of that success, he was appointed U.S. Secretary of Transportation by President Jimmy Carter in 1979, and he served throughout the rest of Jimmy Carter's presidency, which was until 1981. At that point, he became a senior executive with Nike and then returned to politics running for Oregon governor. He served 1 term as Oregon governor before retiring from that. However, on May 6th in 2004, under pressure from Willamette Week, there was an article that came out that publicly accused him of raping a girl in the mid-70s, a neighborhood girl from where he lived. This was an underage woman, and he reportedly did this repeatedly. He admitted to this. However, at that time, because of the statute of limitations, it could not be prosecuted. So he was not prosecuted for this. He's since spent most of his time out of the limelight since that revelation over the last 20 years, and again, dying today at the age of 83. For those of you just joining, we're going to go through this a couple of times. I know we're live streaming on a few different platforms. Some of you may just be jumping in. So just to discuss this for you, this is the report from Neil Goldschmidt. We confirmed through his ex-wife that he has passed away at the age of 83 in Portland. And to let you know, I mean, he served in politics at the local, state, and federal level for over 3 decades, a very preeminent figure in the political landscape for the state of Oregon and even beyond that. In 1970, he was elected to the Portland City Council. In 1972, he was elected mayor of Portland. And to repeat this again, at that time, the youngest mayor of a major city in the United States. So that part was a big deal. He advocated for a number of things that still have repercussions for today, including the revitalization of downtown Portland and the advocacy for mass transit systems in the Portland area. There was a lot of controversy at the time about the proposed Mount Hood Expressway that would have gone through East Portland, demolishing a number of neighborhoods. That was ended, and instead the mass transit system beginning of what we know today as the MAX light rail began. He went from there. He was selected and appointed to be Secretary of Transportation for the United States by, at the time, President Jimmy Carter in 1979. He served in that role until 1981, and that was the end of President Jimmy Carter's role as president. And at that point, Neil Goldschmidt became a senior executive at Nike. At some point, he decided to return to politics and ended up being elected governor of Oregon, which was a role he only served 1 term. Largely thought he could have won another role at that time, but he decided to bow out. In 2004, this is part of the scandal of Neil Goldschmidt. 2004, it was revealed, and he admitted to repeatedly raping an underage girl in the mid-1970s at some point when he was mayor of Portland during that time. As you can see from some of these images, looking back at his career, there is a picture there of his portrait being taken down. This is what happened in the state capitol upon this admission. So naturally, the former governors are in there. They took that down, put that into storage. So it was removed from the capital of Oregon. And that is where it remained in storage. Some of these documents, some of his things ended up at the Oregon Historical Society and in the Oregon State Archives. The report coming to you here with the breaking news that Neil Goldschmidt has died at the age of 83 at his home in Portland. And for those of you who want, we'll walk through this here just a couple more times. This is news that we're just confirming here this afternoon. It is his former wife that we confirmed this with, and it is being reported from several outlets. So if you don't know, if you're unfamiliar with Neil Goldschmidt, he was a big part of the political landscape in the Northwest, in the state of Oregon, and even beyond, and particularly for the city of Portland as well, for the number of different roles that he had over the years. Portland City Council 1970, Portland Mayor 1972. It was during that time as mayor where he admitted to repeatedly raping an underage girl. And that's that's what he admitted to. This is what happened. And so that was during that time that took place. Of course, that wasn't public until almost 30 years later. So during his role as mayor of Portland, he changed a lot of downtown Portland to invite more tourism in. He worked on expanding and really applying the mass transit idea for a major city, which has led to the MAX light rail system that we're familiar with today. That led him to being Secretary of Transportation for the United States, selected by Jimmy Carter in 1979. He served that role for over 2 years until the end of Jimmy Carter's presidency, when Ronald Reagan was elected. And at that point, Neil Goldschmidt went into the private sector and became a senior executive for Nike. He then went back into politics, became governor of Oregon, ran for one term. It's largely speculated he could have easily won a second term. However, he did decide to bow out at that in 2004. Due to pressure of looking into some of the past documents and information about Neil Goldschmidt, it was discovered that he had been involved with that underage girl in the mid-1970s. He admitted to this, and the reason he was not prosecuted is because the statute of limitations had run out at that time, and there was nothing that prosecutors could do. So that's why he wasn't prosecuted for this. He stayed out of the limelight since then. That was 20 years ago, and the report again that Neil Goldschmidt is dead at the age of 83. So this is the breaking news we wanted to bring to you, just recapping some of that in case you were unaware of some of the major things that he was involved in here for the, like I said, local, state, and federal level, but his career ending there with that revelation in 2004 of what had happened around 30 years previous to that. So I want to say thank you for joining us. Again, this is Fox 12 Now. We are here at the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, letting you know what is going on there with breaking news. And just to say it one more time, Neil Goldschmidt dead at 83. Former governor of Oregon, former mayor of Portland, former secretary of transportation for the United States, and Portland City Council member for Portland, former city council member. Thanks for joining. If we have more news to bring you, we will be here with that as part of Fox 12 Now and Fox 12 Oregon to bring you breaking news throughout the afternoon. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for watching.